Hey, what is up guys? So I have huge Yu-Gi-Oh news. Now this is only going to be applying to the OCG currently, but it actually may apply to the TCG, so it is still kind of important for us to realize this because as you guys know, in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, whether it's at a world championship, basically what it comes down to is if there's any Japanese players plus American players, they always go with OCG ruling. So it's still kind of relevant to the TCG in that aspect, but the important ruling is that the player going first cannot draw on the first turn. That is huge in Yu-Gi-Oh! I can't believe they finally decided to, give some type of, technically advantage to the player going second. Now the player going second gets to draw extra cards, so player that goes first gets to start out with 5 cards, but remember player 1 still has that other advantage where they don't have to deal with any potential back row. They get to get off their monster without having to worry about any traps or like Book of Moons or any of that stuff. Obviously hand traps are still a thing that they have to worry about, but hand traps are hand traps. But I think that there are certain decks that would still like to go first. For example, because I know some people might be thinking, hey, why wouldn't you want to go second? You get to start out with an extra card. Here's a deck where, going second, the deck kind of sucks. I mean, if you played this deck, you've realized that going second really sucks, especially when you're playing against a deck that can throw up a first turn, like Draco Sack. Like, what do you do in Evil Swarms? You try to go for that card where it likes to steal the Draco Sack, but at that point, the other player, whether they're playing Mermails or the Hermetic Rulers or something like that, I know Hermetic Rulers can't really throw up a first turn Draco Sack, but the thing is, it is possible technically, but I would say in a deck like Mermails, it's much more relevant. There's other decks, Harpies can throw up a first turn Draco Sack, but the thing is, when you get to go second in Evil Swarms, you don't really have an option to get over a bigger monster. Your option is basically to stop them from coming out. That's how the deck likes to play. It likes to play this game of, I like to get out my monster, and then you can't even play. That's how the deck likes to play. Whereas other decks, going second, hey, that's totally cool. In a deck like Heretics, sure, right now going first would be better because of that extra draw, but in the future, there's really no need to go first because you can't really make a really extremely strong field first turn. I know someone's going to argue you can go for the level, you can normal summon the level 5 without tributes, and then maybe make a Star Eater or something like that, but really what it comes down to is those huge explosive Hermetic plays usually have to involve you special summoning Tefnuit and then going and special summoning Sue and tributing a card with Sue's effect, and then from there you can actually go off with your plays, and it usually just needs to have that first turn Tefnuit, that free special summon, then you have that tribute summon, and then you can normal summon, and it just makes the deck more explosive. And there are certain decks, like I said, that still want to actually go first in Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not at a point where you always want to go second, because I think that this kind of makes the game a little bit more balanced in a sense for the second player. But there's also another really awesome ruling. This is that both players can both have field spell cards on the field at the same time. So that's going to be something interesting, and I'm wondering how certain things are going to actually have ruled, because there's cards at closed force, there's other cards in the game, but I just want to know how are they going to implement that, but we'll just have to wait and see. Also, I know some of you guys are going to ask me about the whole Pendulum summoning, because this information was technically sort of released, but the information on it is really up in the air because we don't actually have the official rule book yet, so we actually have to wait for that to come out, and then I'll make another video on that, and we'll talk about what cards are actually coming out for the Pendulum summoning, which is some new form of summoning in the game. It basically you place monsters and they count as spell cards, but we'll talk more about that later on once we can actually know what some of these new Pendulum monsters are, so we can actually see them, because in the very beginning of the game we had Utopia, Granosaurus, and Gachi. Those were the first 3, and they didn't really change the game too much. It was more so just the ruling with the tour guide where you can detach and get your search out, but that's no longer a thing because Sangan is also banned also. But anyways, yeah, there's just a really important ruling. So if you guys are in the OCG, you guys are really lucky. I wish we had this ruling. This ruling will actually apply on March 21st for the OCG and the TCG. I don't know when we will get this ruling. We might not even get this ruling, but it still does apply because when you go into World Championships, they always use the Japanese rulings. For what reason that we have separate rulings for the same game, I don't know, but we technically get different cards also. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment box below. As far as going first, you guys think that this is more fair? Because to me, I feel like this is definitely fair. It's at least a step in the right direction. They're at least acknowledging that going second, has always been a disadvantage. I mean, being able to attack first turn, when your opponent just has back row, which is it usually never works anyways. The player that gets to go first gets to use their back row, and then they have a free field. It's just there's too much much advantage for the player that goes first right now. But we'll see if we get this for the TCG. I'm kind of stoked for this ruling. I cannot wait to see if we get this for the TCG, like I said. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And like I said, I'll update you guys on that whole Pendulum summoning, because we're trying to figure out the whole ruling and, what cards we can actually bring out, because if they're not very good at the start, we'll just have to wait later on and see what comes out in the game. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes out.